Ahoy mates, Captain Marrow here, not shipwrecked, but I am in Bath, North Carolina. And at the moment I am at the St. Thomas Episcopal Church. And next to me here is the buried remains of Edward Salter. So Edward Salter was a member of the crew aboard the HMS Speedwell down in the Caribbean. He is either from Nevis or St. Christopher, one of the two, not quite sure. But either way, he was a member of the HMS Speedwell, which at a point in time was attacked by a fleet of 6 French ships during Queen Anne's War. And then afterwards, of which the ship was the only survivor, afterwards he transferred over to the Margaret. Now, the Margaret was a ship that was actually hit by Blackbeard himself, during which he was forced to join the crew on board Blackbeard's Queen Anne's Revenge. He spent some time on the Queen Anne's Revenge. He was there for the blockade of Charleston, a couple of other notable events prior to that, and when the Queen Anne's Revenge ran aground in Beaufort Inlet, North Carolina, he transferred over to the Adventure, supposedly. Afterwards, he would have been there for Blackbeard's defeat and would have been one of the pirates captured, taken to Virginia to go on trial, and according to Charles Johnson in the General History of Pirates, he was hanged. However, there are records of Edward Salter actually having owned the property well after his trial. So there is the question as to whether or not he actually went back out on the Adventure, back out with Blackbeard, or if after the Queen Anne's Revenge ran aground, he actually went to Bath, North Carolina. In either case, he didn't own property here in Bath, North Carolina until after his trial in Virginia. So if he did head out with Blackbeard, he would have been taken off the Adventure, or if he came here with the Queen Anne's Revenge, he would have been one of the pirates rounded up by Lieutenant Robert Maynard. So, according to Charles Johnson, General History of Pirates, Israel Hands and Samuel Odens? I would have to double check that name. I'm better when I can actually Google some stuff and spend some time typing up articles for you guys. But here I am out in the field, Edward Salter's buried remains. In any case, so Edward Salter, after his supposed trial up in Hampton, Virginia, he appears on Bath Records. And after he does so, he actually comes into possession of the former governor's house, Governor Charles Eden. He comes into it actually after other fellow crew member James Robin actually owns the house. So Governor Charles Eden's house is on the west side of the Bath Creek, and after he leaves that property, James Robbins takes it over after he buys it for £600, a 400-acre lot. And after he dies in 1725, Edward Salter actually gains the property. So Edward Salter here, he actually lived until 1734. And during that, 1735. In 1734, the St. Thomas Episcopal Church, which is the burying ground I'm at here, was initially constructed, during which the first year of its construction, he served as warden for the actual property and tending to repairs. Edward Salter was a cooper, which is a barrel maker, and after he became friends with Edward Mosley, after he became friends with the Mosley family, he eventually passed away in the financial prime of his life in 1735, less than a year after this church existed, and he was buried on the property at Beasley Point. So in the 1980s, his remains were actually uncovered because they were installing a bulkhead along the Bath Creek River, and they didn't know who he was. So it took them a while. His remains were kind of tucked away, research, waiting for results, etc. Eventually, in 2010, a location here at the St. Thomas Episcopal Church was donated as a place to bury Mr. Edward Salter. And this is his temporary resting ground. His family, as far as I know, still wants him to be buried back at Beasley Point, where the governor's plantation would have existed. However, until then, he remains here at the St. Thomas Episcopal Church. So, here he is. According to author Kevin Duffus, he is the only verified, definite remains of any of the 4,000 pirates that operated out of the Atlantic and Caribbean. Most pirates, when they were killed, were of course either just discarded off the side of the ship, buried at sea, or they were hanged, thrown in the muck, their remains lost to time. Other people whose remains were supposedly found have either been claimed to be a hoax or didn't have any scientific or historical evidence backing up the claim. Edward Salter here, though, is the exception. He is America's only pirate remains. This is definitely the Edward Salter that served on board Blackbeard's crew. So here I am, visiting the only known remains of the only verified known remains of a pirate from the golden age of piracy. So, congrats, Edward. You made it, boy. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I just want to make this video for you guys while I'm here in Bath, North Carolina at, again, the St. Thomas Episcopal Church. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later.